Greetings everyone, hello and welcome back once again to Frostpunk 2. Boy, it's been a while and this game just received a massive new expansion, Fractured Utopia, that is adding a lot of new mechanics to the endless mode. My favorite mode in this game, of course, and we're jumping right into this one. Onto one of the new maps that the game also goes for, the Forsaken Valley, a massive sprawling land where we can develop our city with lots of resources and also some geothermal sites as well. Now this DLC adds a lot of new, especially scenarios to the game. One of them is the plague that I'm playing here right now. So there is a sickness that is appearing during the course of this game and we have to find a cure and have to fight it. Well, in the middle of all of this is our generator in Sleepy Hollow, a town of 8,000 souls that are starting here, and these guys here, they need guidance. Together with our factions, the laborers, the machinists, and the merchants. We're starting right away with our very first housing district, because we got 62 people homeless right now. We could also call them, well, families, that is. And we do have a bit of food left, right? So 50,000 in the food stockpile, so this lasts us a bit. We have no machine or materials at all, no goods at all. A bit of coal is left, so this will be probably one of my starting points. Before we build the housing district, let's just see where we have the food. There is some food over here together with some geothermal plants here, or geothermal sites, springs, very good. So I would like to start my expansion into this direction here right away, so we can take some of those foodie sites in. In fact, there's 3 geothermal springs here, so I can really see a nice source of power here in the future for us to utilize. The other frost break, let's just check it out, is probably, I would like to combine my frost breaking, but this is going to be hard, what I can see, because over here we got the materials that we're going to need. We got some more coal, alright. So as a matter of fact, I think frost breaking into this direction here makes the most sense to me, because we basically can go into the food, the coal, the materials, and an old way station over there that we can use for exploration. So I would like to do this here right away. In the wasteland, we're starting to get rid of some of that frost. In the meantime, we can start with our first housing district now. So of course we would like to use the proximity bonus to the maximum so that we get the heat bonus from the generator in the surrounding districts right over there. One of the central mechanics basically. Right now we have all the heat allocated that we need. However, I can see that there's gonna be some temperature drops soon. So of course we will need to prepare for all of this by quickly getting ahead here with our first districts and also our first special buildings. The council hall is the very first one that I would also like to add now here in the center. Finish the plague tale, that is our main goal really, but also have a significant population living in this colony here, 35,000. Balmy -20 degrees right now. That's even t-shirt temperatures out. Balmy. Now we continue with, the coal is the primary focus here. Also taking that food in. So we can now dig into this area, but I would also like to dig into this area where we have those materials right away. And by the way, since all of this costs me lots of money, I'm inclined to take some money from one of my factions. The merchants we have, the machinists we have, and the laborers we have. 150. These give me 160. The machinists are rather, neutral faction in the middle of it. They usually do not go to extremes. So I'm gonna raise the funds from them to get me that money for the frost breaking that we need. Council hall established, and with that we can start the lawmaking process of Sleepy Hollow, deciding how my people have to live. Propose a law, the very first one. I usually like to go for my basic necessities. I think, we're gonna see some new laws here that I'm looking forward to as well. Paid essentials increases the efficiency of all of my buildings, my extraction, industrial, and food districts, and on top of that, my heat stamp, income is increased as well. This has a pretty high approval rating. Nevertheless, I could also negotiate with one of the other factions to also make them a bit happier, since the machinists are, a bit unhappy right now because I got money from them. I might give them also something. Allow productive outsiders as one of the laws that they would like. You know what? I think we can do this without any promises, as the approval rating is really high for this law. Very good.
The votes are
And with that, we get the law passed without having to do any promises or something like that. This gives me a bit of a boost here to my income, 15 per week right now. But it also makes sure that my buildings will produce a bit more. Alrighty, my first housing district is coming along now splendidly. I would like to expand it right away, because this gives me the opportunity of having a building inside. And I would like to very much do this. Main focus really is to build more housing, right? So I'm gonna have another housing on the other side of town, so that we can sprawl that up here to the north. Because having homeless people is the most dangerous thing in this game. And I'm gonna have another housing district over here. So that's 3 of them. Very expensive, of course. My frost breaking continues. And we're now pushing into that coal side over there. I would like to, of course, immediately get the infinite one in. Very good. We're having another frost break towards the old way station, so that we can start with some exploration. And I think also here, have we already made it? Yes. We could build the extraction district now. I'm gonna have another smaller frost breaking over there though. Gorgeous maps this game provides. So this of course is on the highest details once again. I love the frost. And look at that, these geothermal springs, they're gonna be nice for us, I have a feeling. Of course we need to research that first, but once we have it, it's gonna be nice. Very important that we finish that expansion over here. There you go. And we can now put a research district right down in the middle of this neighborhood. My money is running low again. I might consider also now taking some money from my laborers or from the merchants. Let's take it from the merchants. That's a bit more money again that we can raise to especially boost my research now. But of course, this also lowers my trust rating. Alright, it's time to get the first coal district now going, extraction. And it's gonna be, of course, out here to also get that infinite one in. And I would also like to get the material production going now. It's also one of the more important ones. Without materials, you cannot repair districts, thus nothing functions. We have provided now housing for everyone with the latest housing district. For now, we're good in this area.
The price of gruel has been reduced this week only.
And we have unlocked the research district right over here. And we can now start with researching in the idea tree. One of my first ones usually is the factory. It doesn't matter in what kind of order we go here, because we unlock them all rather quickly and they're all rather cheap. The factory provides me with a steady income of prefabs, that's required for building something, and then also goods. That is a consumer good that we can provide to my population in order to keep them happy. In this case here, I'm probably gonna go with the mechanical factory here. This is favorable for the machinists as well. And we go ahead and research that first. To speed things up, I could go with a rush research action right now. And I think I'm going to do this as well, since we do have a bit of trust that we can still spare. Down here we have the trust meter. If this reaches 0, we do have an ultimatum to get trust up again, or otherwise the game is over. So this is something to always watch out for. There it is, our very first district. Industrial district that we finished now, and now we have a steady supply of materials coming in. And in this case here, we can though lower the efficiency of that right now to not extract so much wood at all, right, at the same time, and also to keep this one as balanced as possible. Since we have a bit of materials left, let's go with a minimum surplus. I don't need to worry about that for a while now. Cutthroat economy, that is about to pay the essentials. People don't like that, but I'm gonna remain this unchanged. Over here, my coal district is finished. This one here is very important, as it will provide a deep coal vein for us at some point. A deep coal mine. That's way ahead of us though, right? We need to research that at some point later. Finished. Next, I think, are we here? Yes, we have now the old way station. Gonna frost break a few more thingies here, and then we can start with some exploration. Look at the the road layout that we've created here automatically. So yeah, they're really far away from us. I can see that this is one of the bigger challenges of this map. Everything is really far away. We got more coal over there. And we do have then our steam over here. So I'm gonna frost break my way also into this direction here a bit, into the center. And from here we can branch out then into the other paths, right? But this is no hurry. This is just a side project now that we have there in the background. Alright, mechanical factory has been researched, so we can immediately start the next one now. That was fast. And I probably would like to go for the housing insulation. This warms my houses by another temperature level. And thus reduces also my sickness. Next we can go for the logistics district now. I would like to do this right here by the old way station. And while this is under construction, we can start with the next law. The next law is the Community Service Watch. Here we do have some two interesting ones. The first one is the Heat Pipe Watch. Everyone must inspect the heat pipes in their places of residence. This increases the temperature level of all my housing districts by +1. A very useful law for later when temperatures get really cold. For now though, I would like to go into the city development effort. Everyone must support the production of prefabs. And this one provides me a smaller amount of prefabs being automatically produced in the central district all times, despite not having any materials, for example. Overwhelming majority for this law, so let's go ahead and get this one going right away. Very good. And with that, got a smaller prefab production now. As we're already rather low on that, it's a +5 now. A little bit later, we got our first logistics district going. I'm gonna expand this one immediately down here along the road. And with this one, we can now zoom all the way out onto the global map. There it is. And we can now start with the researching. We got the glacier, the plains, they're safe. We got another plain territory over there. We have 20 Frostland teams right now, so we can start with 2 expeditions into the plains number 1 and into the plains number 2 on the other side. Can't wait to see what we find out here. Let's zoom back into that. I love the seamless transition. We have a bit of a coal surplus now, but there is the temperature drop now coming. But we should survive this as it's only 1 day. Food is of course still vastly negative, so this is one of my next goals. For this we continue with the frost breaking. We could also start a food district here now, but that's really not a lot of food. I'm hesitant. This one here provides more food, but it is in an area that increases my diseases because there are toxic gases coming out of the air, out of the ground here. I continue with the frost breaking towards the next old way station over there, and we do have then the option to expand towards our steam spring over there and also to the coal deposit number 2. And as you can see, all of this is just very expensive every time we do it, so frost breaking from now on needs to be more careful. Let's start with a smaller food district here. I mean, I would rather wait and see what we find on the map, honestly. We have enough food for a while. What we definitely need to get going though is an industrial district to get me some good production. And to preserve heat, I'm going to have this one right here to use the level again, but I'm not gonna get it too close there to my housing district because we do increase the squalor of this area for now, so it's not something that I would like to go. Let's keep a bit of a distance. This also gives me room now to add some buildings then, like a heating hub in here to boost those districts' heating capabilities, for example. Researching, we have finished the next one, the housing insulation. And I would like to go into the generator upgrade now for the oil pumps. It's the only option we have. It's not about the oil pumps, it's what comes after this. Adding then fuel, like in the form of steam to this. I think we actually need to go down here though. So I'm gonna go ahead with the coal mine. Because this brings me then further down into my steam area. Alright, Sue Miller has something to say. The lack of law regulating childhood is causing tension. Let's have a look at laws again. Not that I'm looking at childhood safety right now, I think. I would rather go into the goods law. And here we have 2 options, the mass-produced goods or the durable goods. So in order to make the best use of scarce resources, we'll focus on producing sturdy and easily repairable goods. Or we will organize our production lines to increase goods production. This has a vast majority again. Goods production efficiency is increased just on time for my industrial district. I'm gonna get this law on the way.
The votes are in. The measure passes.
Very good. Goods production increased, and that was already enough to push us now over the edge here, right? In my industry zone. So we do have now the option also to produce either goods or prefabs. Since we have a passive prefab production, I'm inclined to keep the goods production up now, and this leads to a surplus. And this increases now my trust level there, because we do have goods produced. This is kind of like a luxury that you can provide to your population. However, it also increases my material consumption now, because we produce goods out of materials. So we'll need to raise now my efficiency for that district here. We're going to have an expansion, and that allows me then to also add a sawmill. But we do not have a lot of wood in here. So we will need to work towards a second materials deposit somewhere on this map. And as we've already seen in the beginning, we do not have a lot of options. So it's probably also going a bit further down now here, towards this one then at some point later. But we do not have a single endless materials deposit on this map, so we will need to find them outside. Now we could go into the geothermal plant. This is really powerful. Allows me then to harness the natural heat from geothermal springs to generate steam. I don't think we need it right now though. I'd rather go for my next resource upgrade, which is the sawmills. That gives me the option to produce more materials out of my districts. Colder season is upon us. Temperature level dropped now by 1, and as you can see, my heat allocation now shifted significantly to only half. It's only a day though, so what we can do is, first of all, we do have now a freezing population, right? If we look at the heat overlay, we can see that the communities are now chilly, and that is even with the bonus of the temperatures coming in, as others are even worse. We can now change the heat allocation. So we can allocate the heat that we have available to, for example, heat my districts. But each one of those steps will increase my coal consumption now a bit. Let's just see how far we could push this to negative 220 coal. We could also go the other route and say, okay, I do not want to consume that much coal. We rather go ahead and have the generator overdrive. This one will produce more heat. So let's do this. There you go. It will not so much increase my coal consumption, but it gives me an overdrive stress on the generator, which is now going up. And once this reaches 100%, the generator will explode and the game is over. So let's just keep this active for now and see how far we can push it. It's only really 1 day. This leads now to all my districts, of course, by the way, being now properly. We have also found a source of oil now on the plains, or in the plains, as my research is finished. Also my next research finished. Let's go ahead and get the next one going right away. One thing I usually also like to unlock quite quickly is the hospital. It reduces the disease in the city, and disease will increase over time. So let's get this one on the way right away. Get out on the map again and have a look what we found. Oh, lots of coal and materials here. There is a lead of a source of food somewhere marked on the map now over there. We do find 70 food that we could harvest now. Very good. More cores. And oil. But we cannot use oil at the moment. Also, there is another direction for more oil even after this. Now I have the option of two things that we need to decide on. Do we want to use the geothermal springs in the future? Or do we want to use the oil coming out of the map? Because we need to research that. We cannot go with both routes at the same time. So first of all, I would like to get this outpost here going. So we can use 5 Frostland teams now for this deposit here. They will produce 70 food for us all the time, up to a maximum of 30,000 food, right? Then it's depleted and we get the team back again. So let's start the harvesting here. And we can see this immediately now, right? As my food penalty goes down to negative 34. And this will, yeah, push my food now. With that, we can last a bit longer. I would like to use the other frost lamps that we have to explore the next plains down here. There's more food available. And with that, we have not that many Frostland teams left. So we could think about getting the next one rolling here, as I do have my old way station unlocked now. Another thing I'm thinking about right now is getting the mechanical factory now going that we have unlocked. This gives me now a boost in goods and prefab production with just a little more workforce. So I would like to use this. We can also go for the next law again. And in this case here, let's just check it out. Yeah, the kids want something. And in this case here, we do have now the childhood law, family apprenticeship, or mandatory school. I would like to go for the mandatory school because it boosts my research speed. It reduces, however, my heat stamp production slightly, right? So it doesn't really affect me. I think there is well, not a majority for that, but people are leaning towards that. I would like to make sure though with that this time around. So let's just see who we could appease. The machinists would give me the chemical additive law that they want. The merchants would like to go with allow the productive outsiders, and I'm in line with them. So, no, wait a second. Actually, I want to do this right now. So we cannot accept everyone, right? Because we need to survive on our own as well. So I'm gonna go with selective outsiders. For now, we can always change this later, but for now, I would like to get this guaranteed win for me, and with that we can also push the merchants a bit further with getting some promises done. There you go. This will make kids now very happy. It also gives me a research boost. We could now continue then raising funds from the merchants again in 13 weeks and then finish the promise to get the reputation up again. We're, by the way, endorsed by the machinists right now, so yeah, they're giving me a nice bonus there with their reputation. Alright, temperatures go up again, so we get a bit of more time, but then we get 2 temperature drops. So this will be a bit more severe then. The goods factory has been finished, so we have now a nice boost in prefab production. I could go with a prefab focus right now because we really have enough goods. So I'm also lowering my production in the industrial zone to lower my consumption of materials and stay slightly positive on the goods. We have some room to maneuver around here. Mechanized sawmill. That's usually something that also is a nice promise with the machinists. So I'm probably not going to do this just now. Warmer season it is. Let's turn off the overdrive. We were at 32. Right, so now the generator can, yeah, relax again a bit. There's the hospital. Finished. And we can go for the next one. I would like to go with the generator upgrade now. This will allow me then to use oil in addition in the generator. It can run exclusively on oil, but with increased efficiency. This leads to the problem that we cannot use coal then anymore, but I think there is the research then unlocking that we can use coal for this. Or we go down here to the geothermal plants. I would like to do this, in fact. Once we have finished researching that, we can use steam to heat my homes. Should be just on time for that temperature drop. Next exploration has been finished. We find material deposit. We could get 200 materials out of this one here, up to 200,000 material. This is very powerful. However, we need to build the skyways for this first. And here we got the last hunt. Our scouts came across a convoy of wagons loaded with hunted reindeer. The hunters were pleased with their catch, though they admit it will be their last. There were only young bulls and pregnant cows left. Take the meat or mark it for later. We can take the meat, get the 25,000 food, and we get the marking on the map now over here. There should be a food colony possible in the future, which is very helpful for us. I continue sending 10 more Frostland teams over here to the Sea of Ice, a vast, relatively flat, frozen body of water. They're on the way now, as my other Frostland team comes back home then again. So we have now the option of scavenging a lot of materials and coal. We could also get a lot of food out of another site, right? But the 25,000 food coming in now will be a great help. There it is. And this gives me another 140 weeks of food supply that we can live off. We will need to, yeah, get the outsider rule going here soon now. There's the promise for this as well. And I would like to raise the funds though first from the merchants. There you go. 160 heat stamps coming in again. But of course we lose some reputation with the merchants. Now I can make true on my promise, productive outsider law. Let's do this right away. Yeah, there is... Oh, actually... there's some resistance here, but I think we should be fine. We could, of course, also negotiate with one of the other factions. Again, like the machinists. Yeah, mechanized sawmill, remember? We could build this one and immediately finish that promise. Oh no, they won't negotiate. Sorry. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Mechanized sawmill. Let's build this one, right? And get the promise going, because this allows me to also raise heat stamps from the machinists. Basically, the whole town was for it. 80 plus. Probably was no need to really get anything going here. We finished the promise and increase our reputation with the merchants right away. Now we got the promise going for the mechanized sawmill that we have already unlocked. So what we can do now is I can raise the funds from the machinists, 160, lower my reputation, but immediately build the mechanized sawmill now. Finish that promise. And get my trust levels back to favorable. Very good. Free money, that is. The mechanized sawmill, though, will continue producing more materials, which leads to this deposit here being running out of materials soon. So I'm going to lower the efficiency here. I think to that, right? Negative 20 is fine, because we do have a vast material deposit on the map that I can still scavenge as well. Scouting is the most important thing, so I'm gonna build me now my second logistics district here in at the old way station. As expensive as it is, great that we can do it now. We're also finishing now the geothermal plant. Perfect. It's gonna be really important for us. And then, since it's only 50 coin, I would like to go ahead with the scouts headquarters. This allows me to reduce the exploration time. This is an upgrade for my logistics district, and it also reduces the territory threat level for all the districts or the territories that we have in the surrounding area. That's also very powerful to have. Temperature drop is coming. Just on time, we can build our first geothermal plant. I would like to do this over here. Let's finish the frost breaking. We're also down to only 8,000 coal. This will last me for another 68 weeks. And there's also my Cornelius Morgan telling me something. Venturers, new voice, trust the invisible hand. That's a new faction now coming in.
Trust the invisible hand.
They are luxury lovers, investment seekers, industry financiers. Very good, boosting everything that has something to do with industry districts. They want to finance mercenaries, enforce my rule. And yeah, they're one of the radical factions, I think. At least I think that now. This opens up the new Utopia tree. So that is one of the new features. And 3 points that we get from the faction, the Venturers now. Spend these points to unlock powerful laws and its unique faction, Utopia. And this is the new tree that we have now available to further specialize our city. Now, 9% of the city are Venturers right now, so it's a relatively small faction. And the Goods Emporium would be their very first unlock. This will increase my material demand and consume some workforce, but it produces some goods in addition to neighboring districts. Heat stamp income is also increased. It also adds the ability Add campaign, which increases goods demand and thus maximum heat nodes revenue, because we generate heat stamps out of the goods consumption. Now, in this case here, let's unlock it because it's the first one. There you go. And we can now build this one. It's a special building. It's not being built in any... Our economy runs in a virtuous cycle. The city spends, its infrastructure grows, its citizens prosper, returning some of the prosperity back to the city coffers to spend anew. And we'll maximize our revenue with that. One of the new factions. So this is a special building, not a building that we place on top of a district. Where do we have it? There it is, right? And we can place it in something like that. And this now would reduce the workforce requirement of the surrounding area and increases the production efficiency of goods. So it makes sense to have this close to an industry zone, but I think also close to a housing district. Yeah, because the heat stamp income from neighboring housing districts is increased as well. So this is a nice spot here for this new building then. Alright, also we get 1,200 more people now joining us. That would mean that I'm going to expand my city district, right? Here, this one. And think over here, this one we can also expand. Gonna keep a bit of space there for a hub as well that we need to provide. Could be enough, those two. Yeah, almost. And by the way, here we can now start with our extraction zone. So that's my geothermal plant that we can place right on top of that. Produces heat. It, however, increases disease rating. The problem here is that this district is in a toxic fume area. Is that my mistake? It would be the same up here. So I think they're all in a toxic fume environment. Also here, yes. Toxic thermal vents. I think there's a research that will make this easier for us. But for now, let's go ahead and do this. And this will now for the first time also increase my disease rating. So we gotta be sure that we use one of my hospitals then that we've built. Alright, next research has been finished. And with that, we got 30 Frostland teams now as my logistics district has also been finished. My second one. We get cores here. Whoa, that's nice. 10 cores in addition. Another food source. And coal. 50,000 coal. Let's take this one right away. And I think I'm considering also getting this food source in. Yes. It might be feasible to do this now. There you go. We still have 20 Frostland teams left that I can use to now go into one of the others. This one's dangerous though. This one's safe. Let's go ahead with this. Then I'm hoping we find a second one. There it is. I like how my map is turning out right now. Very favorable for us. We got a nice food surplus. Enough so that I can tone it down. Where's my food district? In my food district. Ah, you know what? I don't even have a food district yet. Totally forgot about that. We have so much food coming in from the map that I'm still not producing it. Now, though, the coldest season is upon us. Drop to -30 now. Let's build the geothermal plant. So we need to have the extraction district, right? And then the geothermal plant on top of it to start producing some steam here. And this is 209 steam now. Now, unfortunately, we're lagging behind with the researching there a bit. I might consider... Yeah, let's push the research again. Rush researchers. Because we need to upgrade my generator first. So what we can do in the meantime is I can increase my heat allocation, at least to the housing district, right? We have enough coal. That makes it possible for me. And I'm going to keep it chilly in the other one. So this is chilly, this one's chilly now. Very good, right? So with that, we have a bit of a slight coal negativity there, but we're still going to last a long time with. Until I finish my researches, that is. The Menders. This is a faction I know though. Coming in now. And Rough Sleepers, Crafters and Anti-Currency. So they're the other side. They don't want anything to do with any money. And go into this directly with the herding camp. Domestic reindeer and fabric structures for the Nord members who tend them. Food output is increased in housing districts. Yeah, this is their building now that we can unlock with them. I don't know, do we have to? We got 5% of the city right now using them. Let's unlock it because we can. And now it's getting quite busy here. Okay, there we have them and they're immediately, well, negative towards us. So these are going to be the troublemakers, I think, down the road. Next law, I would probably like to go with surplus heat should benefit the entire population. Or heat is a luxury and as such surplus heat will be auctioned off to the highest bidder. Warm housing districts generate extra heat stamp. Now, let's rather go for the funerals. Harvesting funerals. The deceased will be harvested and their healthy body parts used to support the city healthcare. That is boosting my research speed again, and disease is also slightly decreased with that. Also, there seems to be a majority for it, as more people are leaning towards it. I could still negotiate though. With the Menders, they will not do this because it's against their worldview. So, you know what? I'm actually just gonna risk it and see how it goes. But it seems like the majority is for it anyway. Oh, that could be bad. Oh no, very good. Got the heart pumping there a bit, but we got the harvesting funerals now in effect. boosting my research speed there as well. We have to enjoy the peacefulness right now, because most factions endorse us. I like it. I have a feeling it's not gonna stay this way. And the Menders already have something for us. Stuart, Menders representatives have come to your office. It was madness to vote in harvesting funerals. If you continue with such nonsense, we will have to act. We implore you, repeal that law. Or appease them with all due maintenance. I have no idea. This is a research all due maintenance. We are on our way. No, I'm not gonna do this. This will worsen the relationship with them. We could probably condemn them. They will lose members and potentially lose seats in the councils. However, the relationship with them continues to worsen. Let's try this out. Yeah, this actually made things worse. Of course, I didn't expect a full scale. We could also promote them again. Yeah, there you go. I can't have it that they actually go ahead with this, right? So they still have the same size relatively. Where's my ventures? The ventures are more powerful at the moment. This is how it should be. Right, generator oil pumps has been finished. Next research, I would like to, well, we have the generator upgrade 1. Melting deep deposits is nice because this gives me deep mining then. And then generator coal upgrade 2. But for now, I would like to insulate my work districts. With that, it makes it easier to heat stuff, right? And especially use more of my coal that we have right now. I would, by the way, also like to go ahead and get me a fuel stockpile, because the thing is right now that we have 50,000 coal waiting for us on the map that we cannot even store, right? So I would need a fuel stockpile to get this up. This is raising my fuel now by 50,000, doubling it essentially. And with that, we can now get a massive chunk of coal from the map. Yeah, still feel a bit bad about the Menders. That was a bad mistake on our side. But I think we'll pull through. That is not costing us anything right now. So we built the extraction district with the steam. And we can use it in case of an emergency, right? Get the steam output. But right now we still cannot use the steam, unfortunately. Alright, program war. So people are increasingly arguing over the curriculum taught in schools. Some think we should reduce theoretical knowledge and go for more survival training. Others argue the exact opposite. We need to teach children how to think and come up with new solutions. Focus on survival. This will be good with the Menders. Or concentrate on science. This will increase it with machinists and venturers. And mandatory school increases the research speed even more. I would like to do this, yes. Yeah, we really got the tensions rising here. So the Menders, I don't know what bad things they're gonna do. Alright, we have finished the next exploration, by the way. So in this case here, we could now really get the coal and materials in. But I think it's not necessary yet. We found a charred workshop. Another source of fuel. Here is lots of coal. This is actually something I'm considering now. Down here, we have a core. And even more coal. Let's get the massive chunk of coal in. For this, we need to build the sky trails. And let's just see how many we're gonna need. The entry point is here. And I think I'm gonna go over there. Wait a second. Can we connect this one? No. Here and then here. Alright, this takes 4 weeks. Cost me 100 heat stamps, 20 prefabs. And once this is finished, we get 400 coal out of that. Which is great for us, of course. I still have 15 research teams left, so I'm considering just taking a core with 5 of them. And I'm considering taking these cores here with another 5. And I'm considering taking now this stockpile here with, once again, 5. There's 3 chunks of resources now coming in. Alright, separated families. Yeah, no. I'm still gonna keep my productive outsiders. Alright, got the next research finished. This is now increasing my heat allocation for districts. So first of all, we have way too much heat rolling right now here. And we can now go ahead in the districts here and get the insulation going. I think I would like to start with my coal mining because we're gonna need this for a long time, right? Let's go ahead and insulate this. And I will definitely like to insulate it for my industry district. It's gonna cost me a bit. And do we need to insulate my yeah, exploration districts. I'm also gonna do this here. And on the other side here. Gives me another +1 heating for these. And thus we require less coal. Next, I would like to research the housing block. We do have 2 options here, 3 options in fact. We got the normal housing block, we got the subsidized housing block, or we got the dense housing block. The dense one has the highest increase in shelter capacity, but it increases my disease rating. The subsidized one costs me upkeep, and the normal one has the lowest amount of shelters, but it has nothing else. I think I'm gonna go with the subsidized one. That's twice as much shelter capacity for -1 heat stamp, which is absolutely fine. And we increase the relationship with the menders for a change, which I like as well. My heat stamp production right now is 18, so if it goes down to 17 or even 16, because I add 40 more capacity, I'm fine with that. So the next wave of survivors we can easily already house. The coal has come in, by the way. We got another 30 weeks now left again. And by the way, my coal is going up right now thanks to finished the insulation. Next, I would like to have a scout headquarter now. This is reducing exploration time and it reduces the territory threat level by 1. So if I build a second one on the other side, we reduce it by 2 already, which is very powerful to have. Just on time really, as my next Frostpunk teams are coming in again. And by the way, there's survivors coming. A group of tattered survivors. I could already save towards my subsidized housing block. We need a bit more money for that. So we can raise funds again from some of my factions. It's probably going to be, 6 weeks we need to wait. Alright. The laborers, they haven't paid anything yet. So let's go raise the funds from them. Didn't even affect us that much with them. Alright, there is the first event of the plague now coming in. Sickness at our doors. A small group of Frostlanders approach the city, their journey ending abruptly at the very doorsteps due to a mysterious sickness. There were only 3, barely walked straight. The guard relayed, his voice tense. The skin was peeling off their faces. Drawing her final breath, one of them spoke of an illness that claimed their people. Okay. A deadly unknown disease has arrived at our city. We could warn the citizens. Tension is extremely increased with that. Or tell no one. Yeah, right now I'm not gonna tell anyone. There's no need to cause any panic. So tension is very small right now. We could have afforded it, but I still think it would be the right choice of not crying around that there's a huge sickness coming. Wouldn't be so nice for productivity, I guess. Also, the first storm, the first whiteout, the first blizzard is on the horizon as well. And I think this is a nice point in our story to stop this. And yeah, let's just see how it unrolls. I hope you enjoyed this video here, and we continue onwards with Sleepy Hollow, a mysterious sickness, a whiteout, more city expansion in the next episode. Thanks for watching, stay tuned.